Welcome everyone to Monday Mindset, where we come every week to get motivated and work on our businesses, get our minds right so we can change the world, right? That's how we start feeling by the beginning of every single year. But before we begin, I want to remind you, if you don't want to miss one of these live sessions and you want to be motivated every week, we do have email reminders that you can get on. Go ahead and reply, email in the comments. We'll get you the email reminders. If you want SMS messages, go ahead and reply SMS and we'll get you those as well. That way, you're not going to miss one of these amazing sessions where you can get your mind going every single week. So let's think about that. Every year, at the end of the year, we get all excited. We start thinking about what we're going to do in the next year. And interestingly, this phenomenon happens around the beginning of November. We start thinking about the holidays. We start thinking about upcoming Thanksgiving. We think about Christmas coming up. We think about all the things that are going to happen. And as we think about those things, we end up putting off actually getting started until the following year. So we literally waste 2 months before we get started. Why do we do that? Well, I'm going to suggest that this year you don't do that. We don't wait until January to set our 2022 goals. We don't wait every year until that year starts to set our goals. Instead, we start thinking about them as early as possible. So when you start thinking about those resolutions, I want you to think of this session. I want you to think of this video and remind yourself it's never too early to start planning. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about, resolutions and New Year ideas and the excitement that happens every single year for so many people. Now, I can only talk about this country, but no matter what country you're in, this is a global phenomenon. So in America, roughly 188 million people, that's 74% of our population, set out to learn something new every single year, or make a lifestyle change, or set a personal goal, or something to better themselves every single year. And the top 6 categories where we try to better ourselves, a lot of them cover exactly what we do right now: money, health, career, self-improvement, family, and love. So the 6 most popular planning New Year resolutions are money, health, career, self-improvement, family, and love. Now, today we're going to focus on all of these really because don't these all play into our business? Obviously, money does. Our health does. If we're not healthy, we will not have a thriving business. Our career is our business. We have to constantly improve ourselves. So self-improvement 100% does. We need our family to support us. And of course, we always seek the love of friends, family, and everyone else, right? So having all of these things on top of mind when you're goal planning is important. But before we talk about how to plan our goals, before we talk about next year and what we're going to do in our business, I want to look at some statistics and some things that you likely don't think about when you think about New Year's resolutions. So let me ask you guys, how many Americans do you think fail their resolutions? So how many global, everywhere around the world, how many people do you think fail at the resolutions they set, don't achieve what they set out to do, don't accomplish or seek the level, but don't get there? How many do you think? Well, if you've ever been 90%, Christy says 90%. I'm going to give you the statistics in a little bit, but if you've ever been to the gym the first week of January, man, it is packed full of people. You can barely get on a machine. You can barely, get in the door because so many people made resolutions. If you want to know how many people don't stick to their resolutions, Go back mid-February. Go back to that same gym, and you will see the crowd has thinned immensely. Research actually shows us that about 12%, literally 12% of all Americans with resolutions don't believe they can actually achieve their resolutions. 12% of people who make resolutions don't believe they can actually achieve them. Now, compare that to around 75% with resolutions, and they're confident they will kill it. So only 12% think they can't achieve it or won't achieve it, while 75% think they're going to crush it. And the other 13%, by the way, think it's possible, but they're not entirely confident about the outcome. They're not sure what's going to happen. Now, I find that fascinating that people who set these resolutions, 75% are like, man, I'm going to get this done. We've all done that. I've done that. Last year, I set out to create 2 new programs. And I was confident I was going to do that. And actually, I set out to create one, and we came up with another one, but I was confident I was going to do it. And I started setting monetary goals, how much money I was going to make. And those are the things that I set. Those are the things that I really was looking at. Did I reach those goals? We're not done with the year, so I can't tell you if I've reached them, but I know I'm probably not going to reach the monetary goals that I set for myself. But reflecting back, I kind of know why. I kind of know why I am failing. And according to Forbes magazine, I did what most other people do. There's 3 reasons why we will fail at our goals. And I am really good at goal setting, and I'm really good at planning, and I'm really good at processes and structuring. But I still am going to fall short of my goal. But you know what? I'd rather fall short of my goal and still do amazingly well than have quit altogether. And we're going to talk about that as well. So the 3 reasons why most people fail. Number 1, this is according to Forbes magazine. It's your consciousness that needs to change before your behavior can change. Isn't kind of why we come to these Monday mindsets, right? Because we always say we have to change our minds before we can change our businesses. Our consciousness needs to change before our behavior can change. I've often told you guys, I don't just do these for you. I also come here every week as well to get myself pumped up, to get myself motivated, to start looking at my week and get going. That's why I did it at Monday at 10 a.m. and not Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I wanted to have a very productive week, so I wanted to start my week out right. What's amazing to me is every week, how many people don't come on Monday. Now, a lot of people watch the replay. I get that. But why not come live? Some of you guys do all the time, and some don't. So we have to change our minds before the goal is even achievable. The behavior won't change unless our minds change. Number 2, Forbes says you don't have an accountability structure to help you sustain that change. Meaning, most people set resolutions or they set goals and they don't tell anybody. They don't partner with anybody. They don't join a group. They don't get into programs. They try to go it alone. And one of the big reasons they do that is because they're afraid they'll fail. I've been there. I didn't go out always telling people what my goals were. If you were around at the beginning of 2021, you probably heard my goal for Agency Fast Track and what I hope to achieve in the year. I did say it out loud because I know accountability matters, but I'm also not ashamed at the end of the year. I'll let you guys know, did I achieve it? Did I not achieve it? I have no problem with that because I did my level best. I did the best I could and I didn't give up on my goal. But that accountability, having somebody right there to say, hey, how you doing? Where have you been? What are you accomplishing? Are you meeting your goals? Really helps sustain that change. And again, most people don't tell anybody, so that way they really aren't accountable for the resolution or the goal they set. Kind of counterproductive. And the number 3 reason most people's New Year's resolutions fall short. Forbes says that you are actually afraid of, or really kind of resistant to actually achieving this big thing you set out to do. In other words, you won't let yourself achieve that goal. And there's several reasons why. The 4 most common are we tend to have this feeling that we are fundamentally flawed, that there's something wrong with us. And so achieving that goal, somehow we had to admit that there was something wrong with us in the first place. And again, it's really weird. It's a mind thing, right? We feel less valued. We feel less than others, and somehow we're flawed. Another reason we don't want to sometimes achieve our goal is we feel sometimes we're being disloyal or abandoning folks, whether it be our family or our friends or other people. You see, if we actually achieve that goal, and it doesn't matter. I mean, most people think of New Year's resolutions, they think of weight loss, they think of, good habits like that. But even in our business, what happens if you succeed? What happens if all of a sudden you make $1 million? Who are you leaving behind? Who can no longer keep up with you? You think about things like this. I want to go out to dinner and I can now afford fancy restaurants, but my friends can't. I'm being disloyal to them. I'm abandoning them. Same with your family. Again, we have baggage. We have things that are keeping us from actually achieving the goals we so desperately want to achieve. Another one is having a belief that more success will bring on a bigger burden. I struggled with this one greatly in my agency. I didn't want to grow because I was running my business wrong and it was a lot of hard work. So I felt like being more successful would bring on that bigger burden for me. Oh my gosh, I'm already working my tail off. I can't imagine getting bigger or more successful. I just don't have the energy for it. Instead of looking at why I was feeling that way, I just did. And so therefore I wasn't doing the right things to fix the real problem. And then another one is really the fear of outshining. A lot of us have that kind of baggage. We don't want to outshine. We don't want to show others that we're good. We feel like maybe it's bragging, or maybe if we did something, we're going to make others feel bad or less than us. So wow, think about that. Wow. It's not the goal itself that's the problem. It's not the thing we're trying to achieve. It's not the weight loss. It's not the making more revenue. It's not the fixing our business that we really are going to struggle with. It's not the actual act of doing the thing. It's all of our baggage and the inner voices in our head. Have you guys heard that before from me? Probably so, because I'm a big proponent of it, because I had to figure all this out. And even as I say that, even as I tell you guys, look, I had to figure it all out, it doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I come out here and I nail it every time. I don't. No matter how much baggage we deal with, there's always going to be more. We have to just recognize it. Once you recognize it, once you admit this is why I'm failing, that's when you will start figuring out the other aspects that help us succeed. So I have to ask you, do you want to make resolutions that you can actually achieve in the new year? Who does? Who does? And if you're playing along live, go ahead and yes or no. Do you actually want to make some steadfast plans, end of year planning, next year goal planning for your business? Yes or no? Ones that you can actually achieve and feel good about. If you're watching the replay, please play along. Type yes, no, I'm afraid, whatever you're feeling, put it out there. That's part of accountability. Coming in here every week, even though in this session, we don't really have a lot of comments. You guys don't pop on. We save that for our programs. However, I want you guys to really make some affirmations in the comments today. And I'm seeing, yes, I do this year. Yes, of course you do. Who wouldn't want to make a resolution, create a goal, create a plan you can actually achieve in the new year? So for the rest of today, I'm just going to give you some tips. And this is a small part of our program. So if you're in our program, you've probably heard some of this before. I've added some new stuff just so it wouldn't be boring to you guys. But if you're not in one of our programs, this is just a tip of what we cover and how we actually work in the program to help you actually create a business that's thriving instead of one that's causing you stress and issues. So today I'd like to give you some tips to ensure that you can set goals you can achieve for the upcoming new year. Now I'm going to start with how not to set goals. And this is what I used to do when I first started my business. I would dream, and I have no shortage of dreaming capabilities. I can dream up big houses, and I can dream up lots of money and cars and all sorts of stuff. I'm a dreamer. But I was very rarely hyper specific. So I would say stuff like, yeah, I want to make more money in 2022. Man, I'm really going to crush it in 2022. I want to grow my business in 2022. I want to lose weight in 2022. I want to eat right in 2022. That's how not to set your goals. And the reason being is because it is so vague. What does that mean? I want to make more money in 2022. If I make $1 more, I guess I've achieved my goal, haven't I? I want to lose weight. Well, if I lose 1 pound, but then I gain back 30, I kind of achieved my goal, didn't I? I just said I wanted to lose. We want to be a little bit more structured in our goal setting. And if you haven't heard about SMART goals, we're just going to go over it briefly. SMART goals. And it's a mnemonic that stands for SMART is S, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, realistic, and T, timely. So I'm going to say that again in case you're taking notes. S stands for specific. We want to be hyper specific with our goals. We want to know exactly what the goal is. We want to leave no gray area. And we want to make sure we are clear, crystal clear about the specific of that goal. M stands for measurable. We want to be able to measure that goal, that resolution, and know exactly if or if not, have we achieved it? So last year when I said, hey, I want to make $1 million with Agency Fast Track in 1 year's time, that was measurable, right? It was measurable. A stands for achievable. That's where I think I failed my goal. It wasn't really achievable based on what I was doing. And I didn't really plan out how it was going to go because I didn't know what I didn't know. So I don't have to kick myself for it. I don't have to be bummed about it. We made a lot of money. We did well. But the goal wasn't as achievable as I actually thought it was. I didn't do the homework to figure out how achievable it was. Yeah, sure, I put some numbers together and I had big dreams. But I don't think I realized the work it was going to take with the traffic. So conversions had that, sales had that, but getting traffic, dealing with Facebook, getting rejected, having trouble running ads. There were so many things that I look back and I say it wasn't an achievable goal because there were so many things I didn't know. So S is specific, M is measurable, A is achievable, R is realistic. Again, my goal fell kind of into that category. Was it really realistic that I was going to achieve that goal and run an agency and build and I'm building, a house and all the other ands, right? Was it realistic that I could get all this done? It probably wasn't. But again, I would rather set, and I did set a SMART goal. I would rather set a SMART goal and fall a little short than not have a SMART goal where I totally would have failed. And then lastly, the T stands for timely. I have to know exactly when I'm going to achieve something. So in your business, if you want to achieve something, you set a SMART goal. In your life, if you want to achieve something, set a SMART goal. Be specific, make it measurable, make sure it's achievable, make sure it's realistic, and most importantly, make sure you have a time-sensitive date on it. So instead of saying, hey, I want to make more money in my business in 2022, I probably need to say, I am going to bring in a minimum of $250,000 each quarter to ensure I reach $1 million by the end of the year by spending this much time on this and this much time on that. That's specific, it's measurable. I need to make sure that's achievable. If you make no money today, making $1 million in a year, it's doable. But do you have everything you need to make that happen? And is it realistic? Now, for some people, 100% it is. Only you can set your goals. But whatever the goal is, when I say, is it achievable? Will you put in the work? Will you make the sacrifices? Because there's always sacrifices that need to be made. And that's where I fell short this year. I wasn't willing to make all the sacrifices that needed to be made. I wasn't willing to give up my free time. I wasn't willing to give up my family time. And in years of past, I was very willing to do that. So those are the type of things we want to think. Those are the type of things we have to consider when we think about all of our goals. So I want to kind of talk about what next year looks like for you guys. Studies show that accountability is a major factor in goal achievement. Having accountability, having somebody, whether it's joining an agency fast track program, or if you're already in one, really coming, to the meetings and making statements about what your goals are, going to your strategy sessions with me. We plan out your goals, whatever it might be. It might be your spouse or a friend or somebody in this group that you've connected with. If we have accountability, we will do better with our goal achievement. And again, that's a place where I tend to be lone wolf. I don't tend to go out and rely on other people. And I have to learn to do that more. And you may as well. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something today. And for a lot of you guys, I already see you are already Agency Fast Track members. So you're going to love this. For those of you who aren't, you still have the same abilities. And we're going to talk about that. So on January 4th, we're going to start a new group of fast trackers with a high degree of focus on the year ahead, accountability, goal planning, setting, and then check-ins to make sure people have achieved their goals. If you've already been through a program, that's okay. You can come back through again. There's absolutely no charge if you've already paid for the program. So starting January 4th, we're going to start with week 1. And we're going to add a few extra things. It's just kind of like an upgrade to the course almost, where we are going to have more accountability. We're going to have more planning and worksheets and making sure you're actually hitting your marks. We're going to set goals, create accountability. And hopefully you guys will stick with us because we're going to stick with you. We're going to follow you all year to ensure the greatest chance of success. Now, if you're not in one of our programs, you will want to be on the fast track to success. This is an amazing program. Our programs are amazing, but we've just stepped it up even another level. Now, if you are not in our program, I want you to type SMART in the comments, whether you're watching the live, you're watching a replay, type SMART in the comments. And whether you join our group or not, whether you join our program, I'm still going to send you a free goal planning worksheet. Now, it's not going to be the whole workbook. We're going to actually introduce in January, but I'm going to send you a free goal planning worksheet to get you started. And we're not waiting till January to send that goal planning worksheet out. Now, we are not going to send out the book, the new workbook we're going to do. That's going to start on January 4th. So you have plenty of time to get ready, to start getting your mind right, to get your accountability. So no matter if you're watching live, if you're on a replay, I want you to type SMART. Now, for those of you guys who are already in my programs, what do you guys think? Are you ready for the accountability, right? A lot of you guys, some of you guys had gone through our program last year, early in the year, some mid-year, some at the end of the year, and you were thinking, no, that's it, we're done. Hopefully you know me better by now than that. You see my excitement right now. We are not going to let you off the hook. We are going to be right here with you January 4th. I want you guys to put it on your calendar. We're going to start the new Agency Fast Track X Success program. If you've been through it, that's okay. We're going to add some things to it. Most of it's in a workbook. And for those of you who've been through it before, you're going to actually have kind of a new angle at working your plan, your strategy. And just going to throw down a little hint here. We're actually going to have some prizes and some fun stuff next year too for people who actually achieve their goals. So exciting stuff. Now, with that said, I don't want you to wait. Don't wait until January. Don't wait to start thinking about next year. Start planning. Use what we talked about today. If you're in our program, go back to the portion where we talked about SMART goals and all those things. Start getting it down on paper so you got a head start for January. Start thinking exactly what you want and what you're willing to do to get there. And then in January, you're going to hit the ground running. Now, that doesn't mean you have to wait, by the way. You can start, and those things will be recorded in your program. So some of the prizes we're going to be giving out, some of the things we're going to be doing to get everyone motivated, we will count anything you do if you start keeping track today. Things that I want you to keep track of. I want you to keep track of things you're doing. So if you're out there doing lead gen activities, start keeping track of that. If you are closing deals, start keeping track of that. Not only how many deals you close, but I want to know the monetary value of those deals. Start thinking about that. Start writing that stuff down. And I want you to really think about this time in 2022. I want you to think about November 1st, 2022, because we are going to do something together on that date. And we're going to go ahead and, oh, got some people joining. We're going to go ahead and reflect on where we were today and where we're there. Love the comments. Yes, very exciting, smart. Let's do this. Exactly. Guys, get pumped, get excited. You are part of the Agency Fast Track family, and I am here to help you succeed because your success helps me succeed. David, count me in. Great. Christy, smart. Let's do this. Elena, very excited. I'm calling you out by name because I know you guys have committed in public and that matters. Now, again, if you're watching the replay, I don't care if you're watching this at the end of 2022, if you're watching this in 2023, get in touch, get some accountability, and let's start planning your goals. All right, so that is your motivation for this week. I hope that it got you pumped up. And instead of thinking about all the parties, and we're going to do all that stuff too over the holidays and all the time we're going to take off. I'm not saying you shouldn't do some of those things. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to relax during the holidays as well. But I'm also going to take the time to strategically plan my year for next year. I'm going to start thinking about what I want and, more importantly, how I'm going to get there. And then I'm going to share with you guys next year when we start this program again on January 4th. I'm going to share with everyone what my goals are. Now, you guys know, due to legal reasons, I can't share numbers with you guys because they frown upon that, at least here in America. So I can't do that, but I will tell you, hey, I've got some big goals planned and I've either, yes, I've achieved it. No, I haven't achieved it, that kind of thing. So thank you for guys for coming this week. Again, I hope you're pumped up. Remember, in order to change your businesses, you first must start by changing your mind. nothing could be more evident this week as we look through the statistics, as we look through the statistics and see literally how many people think they're going to crush it. 75% with absolutely no SMART goal, no SMART plan. It's just not possible. You now know better. So I know you guys are going to have a great 2022. But before we do, have a fantastic week. I hope you guys get productive, go out there and close some deals, work some leads, work on your business, work on your processes. No matter what you do, just make sure that you're thinking through everything and having a positive, effective mindset. Thanks, guys, and have a fantastic, prosperous week.